Hey everybody, what's up again? It's John here. I wanted to do another model review for you today. I picked up this model from Waffle Collectibles for $15. It is the Japan Airlines. This is their old livery. Before they used the red meatball on the tail. So this is like two liveries ago. Japan Airlines 747-300. I'm not exactly sure what the livery's called, but I'm just gonna go by the name of what it says. I believe it's Risoka. I'm just gonna call it the Risoka library because it's there. The model is in 1/300 scale, so this is a huge model, considering. But for $15, that is not a bad deal. It is made by Phoenix Models. They are believed to be the at least all metal 1/300 model manufacturer, at least from what I know. Alright, anyway, let's skip that. We'll get straight into the model. So like I said, this is the older livery. It's got the gray over the first and business class area with the old JAL, the gray stripe with the red cube. You notice we have hummingbirds. Now, one way, well, I have a comparison model I'll do to tell the difference between a 1/300 and 1/400. But first, let's get into the model itself. This plan applies with the old JT9D engines, even though this is technically a 300. We have the front doors, leading edge, except the older engines. You know, for such a big plane, I don't know if it had the antennas on the ends of the wingtips, but whatever. It's a good model. There's a lot of detail for a 1/300. Not as big as 1/200, but it's still very good. Let's look at the other wing. Registration is Juliet Alpha 8184 with the Japanese red meatball symbol. Where it says Rososha, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Got the hummingbirds, their little flowers. It's an interesting library. There's the registration again. What's it say here? It's up so you guys could see that. Boeing 747. We support Unit Chief. Flowers. Let's take a look from the front. Now, one thing I noticed about this model is the landing gear is not, it's not rubber. It's like hard plastic, but it rolls though. It does roll, but they're not like rubber. Now, one other thing is the engines. If you could see through it, you can actually just see through the high bypass fan duct. I wish I had a flashlight to show light through it, but you can see through it. It's small, but you can see right through the engine. That's one thing I like about the bigger models. They have a little more detail when it comes to it. Other side, basically same thing. There's the wheels. Like I said, they're plastic. You can tell they're fake, but they do roll pretty well without any issues. Front cargo door, green navigation light, rear cargo doors. Tail section, APU, horizontal, vertical stabilizers. This is a very good model. I'm glad I got it. And considering how big it is, it's very nice. Now, like I said, we'll do a comparison of both scale and... Now, some people think, okay, well, it looks like a 400. It could even be knocked off for a 100D, a domestic version, but how can you tell the difference? Well, here we go. This is my 1/400 Qantas 747-400. The most obvious difference would be the engines and the winglets, at least from an external perspective. These two planes are almost exactly the same. They both have the stretched upper decks. This is obviously newer and later built. This is a 400ER, that's just a 300. Now, I'm going to put it on here. And as you could probably tell, the size of the planes, I'm trying to find a good spot. Like I said, the Qantas is 1/400, the JAL is 1/300, so it's actually bigger. It's much heavier too. The JAL 74 is about 9 inches long. I don't know how rare of a model it is. It is pretty old, but it does come in an interesting box. I'll show you that in a minute. This is the Phoenix box it came in. Very interesting. They made only several 1/300 molds. This is where the inside is. There's no detail like the Gemini one. Really interesting. It's a very interesting model, and for $15, I got very lucky buying it. Here, I'll do another show off with the two different sizes. So that's the scale size difference. Like I said, the Qantas is 1/400, the Japan is 1/300. So if anyone was curious about the size difference, at least this video will help you. If you're not so much like, well, what's the difference in 1/400, 1/500? This is basically that. If you were looking at it from 1/400, 1/500, look as if the Japan Airlines was 1/400 and the Qantas was 1/500. Same thing. You know, the smaller number means it's going to get bigger. The bigger number means it gets smaller. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a little different. I've never really purchased anything of this bit. Well, I kind of have, but those are 1/200s. But for a 1/300, this is still a pretty big model. If you can find this model and get it cheap, buy it. I recommend it. It's very good for what it's worth. Yes, I got it cheap. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, definitely leave a comment. I'd be happy to answer as best I can. And you guys have a wonderful day.